Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, welcome back. Today I'm gonna be working on a boat where I'm gonna fix in somebody else's mess, another contractor's mess. Not my favorite kind of job, but I was called and I accepted. Now I'm gonna sneak the camera in. I am not gonna show the boat. I am not sure where that job was done exactly, whether it was done in some yard in Florida. I am not quite sure, but I have never seen so much runs, humongous runs on a paint job. And had it been me that had done this job, I probably would not have gotten paid. I have never seen such a mess on a boat. Drips, paint drips everywhere on the boat. Nasty, humongous runs everywhere. And it's all grip. So this is one of the reasons I am switching to Awlcraft. Most of my paint moving forward will be Awlcraft because it would be easier to fix those runs with Awlcraft. You sand them down with 600, 1200, 1500, 2000 grits and paper, and then you buff it and it will shine again. All grip is really not the same. It's not the same technology in the paint. In this case, we have a really short window to sand down those runs and really not put paint on it because there's no time to put paint. The boat is getting ready to go out on charter and there's so much runs everywhere that I'm just gonna carefully use a block. And let me see, I got small blocks made up and I'm gonna use 600 grits and paper. And probably start with 600, break them down, then move up to 2000 grits and paper using the small blocks and take them down slowly and then put the buffer on them. All grip it's not gonna shine. I mean, it may shine for a short time and then lose the shine. All grip is just different. Had it been Awlcraft, you could have done that with Awlcraft and get away. Awlcraft, that's the best paint for those kind of repairs. But I will sneak the camera in, not show the boat, and try to show how I'm gonna fix those nasty runs. Stay tuned. Kenny's Yacht Maintenance. This is one of the areas on the superstructure. If you look closely, you will see those runs. Look closely, you will see those runs. Check out those runs. So I tip both sides of the runs and I will use a block and start with 400 grits and paper and move my way all the way up to 2000 grits and paper. This is another one of the runs. Pretty sure you could see. Right here we got some more. And I'm gonna walk up forward and check out this one. Oh, I was just informed by one of the crew members that the paint is Awlcraft 2000, so that makes it a little easier. For Awlcraft 2000 we can sand and buff, providing that we doesn't break through the paint and see primer. Now the paint is so thin that a lot of places that we sand, although we started using 800 grits and paper, and from 800 we go to 1200 grits and paper. We're using those little tiny block PVC block with small pieces of 800 grits and paper, and hopefully we don't burn through. The areas that we burn through, we just have to apply paint and try to blend it in, and the areas that doesn't burn through, we should be able to sand and buff it with a buffer. Sand up to 2000 grit or maybe 2500 grits and paper. So the work continues. We're using soap on the block of sandpaper. Some of the areas that we did already, as you could see, we got some burn, so we have to apply paint. We're using 1200?
Yeah.
Using soap and 1200 grits and paper. There's runs everywhere under there. Runs. After 1200 we'll go up to 1500 and then 2000 grits and paper, and then we will polish it and hopefully we get it back to shine. Here we are using the airbrush to apply some paint in the areas that we burn through. Although there is almost no overspray, we just taking precautions by using the cardboard. All the areas were sanded with 1200 grit sandpaper, then 1500, then 2000 grit sandpaper, and up to 2500 grit sandpaper. And now we are using the buffer with some compound to buff it and get it to shine. Here we are using a microfiber rag just to clean up the dust residue after buffing it.
I don't want to play with it too much.
Those areas we doing by hand because those curves don't hold a whole lot of paint and it's very easy to burn through the paint using the buffer. So we just compounding and waxing those radius by hand. Here Julio is applying the compound and I will be using the buffer just to buff it in.
Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, welcome back. So we were able to wrap up this project because the boat had to leave, go out on charter. Plus we were having a lot of rain for the past few weeks. Nearly every day we've been having rain, so we were able to work about 8 days on this boat trying to do some correction. This boat was painted in somewhere in Fort Lauderdale, and there were hundreds of runs from a brand new paint job. I mean, if you were to go around the boat, you could literally put 100 pieces of tape where there's runs. I've never seen a paint job like this before. We're talking about alligator runs that in some areas 12 inches long runs. And my approach was to block sand those runs using 800 grit sandpaper and move my way all the way up to 2500 grit sandpaper using PVC block to block sand. We quickly realized that 800 grit sandpaper was a little too hard, so we started with 1200, and even with 1200 grit sandpaper we were burning through the paint. So that tells me the paint was really thin layers of paint. So the areas that we burned through, I use my airbrush and give back some color, a couple layers of airbrush paint, and then buff it with some compound, and we were able to bring back the shine. This was Awlcraft 2000 paint, so you can sand and buff it and get it to shine again. But the paint is so thin that we could only do so much. Even by just buffing the paint, you gotta be careful because you can burn through by just buffing the paint. It's so thin. But for what I was able to accomplish in that short space of time, captain, owner, crew was happy, and the boat left and went out on charter. And when they return, we will continue to those areas that we couldn't work on, didn't have time to work on. But yeah, those kind of jobs, sometimes me as a painter, I beat myself up if I get a little run and I'm like, oh, that's not to my standard, and I want to sand an entire hull over for one run. I got to rethink that, you know. There's big companies that's putting out those kind of work, and we look for the best, you know. Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, we really try to put out the best work out there, and we take pride in what we do. So sometimes I think I beat up on myself a little too much, but there's some videos I will show with the process, how we work on the runs by carefully sanding them down with some soapy water, and then putting the buffer on it and get it to shine. You can't do that with Awlcraft, Alex Seal. You can't do that. All grip is not the same, doesn't get the best result with all grip. Bear in mind, all grip and Awlcraft 2000, it's the same company but different technology in the paint. So all grip doesn't respond as well when you sand and buff. You can't do it. It works in some cases, and some cases it's a little dull. Awlcraft is made for that. So Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, watch the video. We will continue to work smarter, not harder. So keep on keeping on.
From Massachusetts Institute of Technology, I am the proud product of Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, where we are in the business of working smarter, not harder. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, working smarter and not harder. So keep on keeping on.